Okay.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Are we ready?
I'm ready.
You
can keep this. You can keep this.
I can.
Mhm.
Okay.
You can keep
Because
it.
if you don't, he gonna pop you in the eye with it.
No,
No,
I'll use it.
Go ahead, Mo.
I'm not bringing us in. I'm just
No,
about
I
to
said go ahead and clap.
Hey, girl, hey. Hey. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Kingz in Konversation. I'm your boy, Mike.
I'm Enrique.
I'm Mocha.
And we are super duper excited to have someone who I have cared about for a very long time. Well, I won't say very long, but at least over a year or so.
That's long for you.
Miss Toni Bryce, welcome so much to the Kingz in Konversation.
Hi, y'all. Thanks for having me.
And she smells wonderful.
She does smell
glory,
good.
glory.
Yes.
Thank you.
So we have so much to talk about because you are just making moves.
Hi.
Yeah. So one of the things that we tell our guests, make sure you talk up a little bit because I
Okay.
talk loud and then
No, he just has a big ass mouth.
we
So
all know I used to be a preacher. Like that
And he
is
uses
like
mouth
common
open.
knowledge.
She has a big ass mouth.
Don't do me. No, don't do that.
Not today.
Okay. So you've been making big moves and we're so excited that you would come and sit on our couch because we love you. Like, we love you. And is it okay if I kind of recap the last time we were together?
Yeah.
So if you all know me on any level, you all know that I am very, very spiritually sensitive. All three of us are, and you'll see that today. But we were talking, and while we were talking and doing an interview before, I told you, I said, God just impressed on my heart that there was going to be a door that was going to open for you and it was going to be a national platform. And come a year so later, we saw that you had this role in PValley. And so we know that there was not a new episode this week, but the great thing about having you here is the fact that you can give us a little bit of insight, tell us what your experience was like. We want to know about everybody.
Okay.
And so the fellas are going to ask you all the questions. I'm just bringing us in. But again, thank you so much for being
Really?
here.
Throw it all on us. Let me just say, first of all, you look beautiful.
Beautiful.
And I just want to talk about my first personal experience that I had with you.
Okay.
Right. I did a little research, and I saw one of your photos, your headshots, and I was like, why does she look so familiar to me? Well, as I laid in bed and thought about it, I realized that maybe a year or so ago, I wrote a script for a mini reality show that I wanted to pitch on Netflix, and I did a casting call for it because my goal was to start recording it or filming it this year, but then COVID happened, and you were one of the first people to send in a headshot.
Wow.
And it just means so much to me because aside from family and friends, you were the first one to believe in my project.
Wow.
So I just want to say thank you.
Oh, wow.
For that, because that really touched me. And oh my God, I was just so emotional when I saw the heads. I was
You
like,
about to
oh
cry
my God,
this week?
that's her.
Come on.
So, yeah. So I just want to thank you for that. Also, I know that you did your first movie in 2007. And I know you probably, Shanice Williamson, right?
Yeah, Shanice Williams.
Yeah, okay.
Well, 2000.
It was 2016? I thought it was 2007. No?
That's
I'm
when
not
I
sure you was
started.
young.
That's when
I'm
you
not-
started.
That's when you started.
Yeah.
Okay. I got half of it right.
Right, you got to hear right. Yes.
Okay. And I just want to know, with all of the movies that you've done, or all of the shows that you've done, up until now, how has life changed for you psychologically, and how was it for you being on set with PValley as far as all of the things that you went through in the past all the way up to right now? Like, how did that, prepare you for PValley?
Ooh, I don't know. Well,
You know, being someone of trans experience.
mm-hmm.
Come on, right verbiage.
I just want to know, what was it like?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we see a little bit, but we don't see a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially of color.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to know, what was it like? You know, from then
Mm-hmm.
up to now, like.
Well, I was. It's kind of crazy because when Shanice Williamson, she was the first. When I got into like film, she was the first person to cast me in a speaking role. Period, and it was in a web series called All That Shabazz, and it wasn't like LGBT content. So my character wasn't necessarily cis or trans or either gender specific. She was just this teacher. I knew she was she, but I don't know. I didn't necessarily know what her gender specifics were. But when I got on set, I wasn't around anybody from the community, so I was the only one. And so it was kind of like, oh God, here we go, you know. Like, here we go. But it was a great experience. It really was. Like, it was great. Shanice was great. The cast was great. Production was great. I didn't have any negative experiences. It was the first project I had ever done that paid me. So I was like, come on, Shanice.
Come on.
Okay. But that was great. Now, PValley, I gagged.
Yeah.
And let me tell y'all why I gagged. Because when we were in rehearsal, I knew that I was going to be in another cell. But we didn't talk about in detail what that cell was going to be, because it was more heavily focused on the women's cell. Because as you can see, that's where all the filming took place.
Can we explain your role just so the viewers can understand as well?
So I play Nineveh.
Right.
I am a Black woman of trans experience as Toni, and then Nineveh also is a Black woman of trans experience, and she was placed in jail, and there's really not a lot of arc to Nineveh because she's only in episode 5, but we're praying for season 2.
Down.
Praying for season 2
Down.
because the other day Katori and Patrick and Poke, they were talking about how in season 1 writer's room they wanted to explore Uncle Clifford, her circle outside of the pink.
Right.
And so when we were in the jail cell and it gave, you know, the hey girl, hey, hey girl, hey, kind of gave, oh girl, I know you, what you doing in here? She was right. So that kind of like led to, or can lead to whatever like be creative.
We're gonna manifest that and speak that.
Stories,
come through.
So where was I heading to?
So we're talking about your character.
Okay, Nineveh. Okay, so that's basically Nineveh. She was in jail.
Right.
She had, you know.
And they put her in a man's cell.
And I do have a lot to say about that, like the scene and the perception and the viewership, all of that.
Right.
But before I even get to that point, so just getting there, when we were in rehearsal, I didn't know like what was really going on in the cell that I was in, and maybe I missed it or I forgot. I don't know. But when I walked onto that set and I seen all of those men, I gagged.
Wow.
Like that same path that Mercedes and Lauren walked down when the officers are placing it, I had to walk down just coming to set to get into place. And I was like, oh, I am gagging. But I had to remember that I am Toni, and I have to push this character forward. Like I have to bring this character to life.
Exactly.
And so in that moment, when I walked into the cell, to my immediate right, there was a guy named Choice that I had known from doing background before on Saints and Sinners. And then to my left, it was another guy. I didn't know him, but he was really nice. He was cool. He was like, you know, am I sweat? Do I need some more oil? I was like, no, you fine. How I look. You know? So we were good, but the initial just gag of it all, because you know, we know Black women of trans experience, Black men who are cis Black men, like hetero cis Black men. Right. Baby, that's a complex, complicated situation. And so for me to be in a cell full of Black cis men and the door closed. Right. Oh my God. I'm sure psychologically that was a lot. Listen, I had to like, Nineveh for me was almost like, she kind of protected me as Toni in that moment, because if it was me, maybe I would have been in a corner quiet, chilling, or like somebody get me out of here. Like I don't even place myself in situations where I feel that I can be in harm's way, et cetera, et cetera. Right. I mean, and I won't say who really does, but you never know. Like the girls on Hollywood Boulevard. Exactly. They probably didn't expect that. Right. But I literally stay at home unless I'm filming or going to work or like the ballroom scene or whatever. But I stay at home.
One of the things I've been to jail, right? And so in my experience, I saw where they have taken women of transgender trans experience and placed them in the cell with the rest of the cisgender men, and how uncomfortable that is, and how even though maybe sometimes they not have had bottom surgery, it still is a challenge for them to go to the bathroom or to take a shower. So I understand, and I thought that was so wise of Katori to call that story out, because that is a real experience for a lot of people. Yes. So
and so since we're on that topic, one thing that I think was really bothering me was everybody, and obviously you get wrapped up into the main characters. Like, who's not going to get wrapped up in Mercedes, Patrice Woodbine, Uncle Clifford, three of the main characters in the show. But then I'm also like, there's this sense of this black trans woman, this black woman of trans experience.
Yes.
In a men's cell.
Yes.
She pleads, Jesse, will you please honor my request to move to the ladies' cell? And Jesse says, that's not my call, that's God's call.
Right.
So you're trying it already.
Right,
so
exactly.
that already lets you know that the law says, baby, we don't recognize your gender. We're going to go with what was put on that birth certificate and what the doctors assigned you at birth.
Right.
And then not only that, when she finally goes into the ladies' cell, the first thing you hear from her is, told you I ain't had no dick.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that, to me, even though a lot of people seen that to be comical, for me, it's
that
like,
was powerful.
she had to prove her womanhood and her genitals to get out of that particular.
Yeah.
And to me, that's and honestly, when I filmed that, none of that to me was necessarily funny. Like in that when I was filming it, like when she talked about my mom did that to me too. Like that was real. Like my mom probably did some stuff like that. I ain't gonna snitch on your mama,
because
But maybe that could have been perceived funny. Great. The whole when she sees them fighting and she's like, "Oh, maybe I am better off over here." Maybe that could have been a little comical because it's like, "Girl, you just trying to get out now. You saying you better off."
Yeah.
But the whole, just the idea of her pleading to get out of that space, a woman in this space with all these men, she pleading to get out, he denied that. Yeah. And then the sense of, I have to prove my womanhood. And then with the genitals, as if like genitals determine.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So I'm just like, that bothered me to no end, because I'm just like, and it's not about me, baby. Y'all ain't gotta give me praise and worship. Like, it's not about that, but it could have been anybody. And I said the same thing when it came to Amaya Scott as Cotton and Star. Like, nobody really dug into this. Like, why is she? Because in my mind, I'm like, even if we're put in men's prisons, but we have these alternative cells, we can't do the same in women's prisons and put us in alternative cells. I mean, if you want to think about it, like, I'm a black woman at the end of the day, and you put me in here with all these men. Like, that's just not okay.
Well, you have to understand, and you actually hit on it when you said women of trans experience and black men, how that goes. So most of the time, black men in power, when it comes to women of trans experience, they want to belittle. They want to make you feel less than because they're inferior of themselves. So that's why they do that. And they can very well make that call because, if you are on that side of the law, you have that call. But they choose to do it because they want to make you feel like, okay, well, you made this choice and I'm going to show you that I don't like it. I'm not with it. I'm not right with it. So I have never, ever, ever, ever been to jail.
Never?
Never.
Wow.
Thank you, Jesus. But
don't ever have that experience.
As I've spoken on previous episodes, I did live this life.
Oh,
and I've been stopped by the police before, and that is a terrifying situation.
How was that for you?
Right.
It's almost like when you see the shows and like when you saw 2 Wong Fu and she was praying. You kind of like, because you like, okay, it's the law. They can do what they want to do. They can say my tail light out. They can anything. But when you're pretty like we are,
down.
You can sometimes you get through because they kind of have that empathy.
Right.
Luckily for me, I had a LGBTQ plus police officer.
Oh, okay.
So and they actually knew who I was. Right. So it was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. But I literally at the time when I was driving and I was dressed up, I would be very precautious because.
You just never knew what to expect.
Wow. Yes, Jesus. Oh, Lord.
I think one of the most powerful things that Nineveh brought to that show was the infiltration of religion over the law, and how people choose what they religiously believe over what is just humanly right. And although you were there for, that 30 minutes or whatever on the show, at the end of the day, it spoke volumes because of the climate of our country. We still have trans women being beat up. And what was so ironic, that happened right after your episode. And we're still dealing with these different tragedies of people in their religious minds thinking, I'm going to help God take care of you. And putting you in a place where you felt uncomfortable. when I saw that, one of the other things I saw was that it seemed to me, and we talked about this a little bit, that there was some oral sex going on inside of that cell. Did we see that correctly, or
No, did he see that correctly?
down? Because you already know I'll be looking for it anyway. So.
No, I didn't.
Because it looked, because
We
honestly,
didn't
and
see it either.
I'll go back again, but I honestly have replayed it back, and it looked like the guy was receiving oral sex in there. So I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the Nineveh character doing that.
No.
Okay. All right.
And it was times where maybe the guys could have been in there where I wasn't there because I wasn't going to be on film. So if
Right.
that happened, I
Okay.
didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't
And I
see
could
it.
be wrong, but I will check again.
Mike's eyes are very. Yeah.
What, sexual?
Yes.
Ah! But no,
Listen.
I didn't catch on to
They're
that.
Okay.
oral.
Well, I mean, you were the one on the show,
Right.
so I'm gonna listen to you.
She ain't seen it in happen.
Right.
What I will say though about that thing, which was interesting, so when I had to sit down and they had to all crowd over me
Mhm.
as if like they were, touching me or whatever.
Right.
What was so interesting in that moment was I was already nervous about being there as Toni. And I
Right.
was like, baby, I'm in the cell with all these men. And then when it came down to them having to crowd over me, I was like, okay,
Ooh,
okay, production, all right.
Right.
But I had to do it because I had to bring the story forth. But what was so interesting to me in that moment was they didn't even really want to be that close. Like I had to literally bring out my own personality.
Right.
The very thing, and I'm like, I'm having to like protect or like put in my pocket rather because
Right.
I'm like nervous. I had to still bring it out to make them feel comfortable. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'm so nervous, uncomfortable. Like in my mind and my thoughts, I'm like, Lord, am I even bringing this character? Am I doing it right? I remember one time though, Patrick did come up to me and he said, Toni, when you deliver will you please honor my request? He said, make it more like, not as like, I'm begging or I'm sobbing or I'm sad about it. Like, she feel like she's spicy.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I'm glad you let me know. Because I think a little of Toni was coming out like, would you please get me out of here, okay? But yeah, I had to like bring out my character personality just to allow them to like feel like it was okay to come near me.
Right.
And I'm already like,
Right.
don't come near me because I'm nervous, but I had to make them come near me in a way. So
That
but
is
that's
so
how
dope.
it is. The people think it's gonna jump off on you if you touch you. or
Right.
something
Yeah,
like that.
they
It's like,
really do.
They really do.
I
But
told
but
it's a spiritual journey. and it's
exactly. But
okay.
people have been taught
Yeah.
that spirits transfer. What were you gonna say, Mo?
I know that a lot of women of trans experience, black women, they have issues with dating or they are afraid to date. What advice would you give to the girls out there who are wanting to date but don't necessarily know how to navigate through that?
That's good.
Well, first, boycott DL men. Like, we have to stop giving them
What kind of men?
DL men.
DL men.
Because the thing about it is, I can empathize with a DL man about what he may be going through with
Right.
family and religion or whatever.
Right.
Like, I get that because as a trans person, you think I didn't have that thought about
Right.
what God think of me, what's gonna happen with family.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I had to be happy. I had to be living my truth.
Right.
So you, at whatever point or whatever time is right for you, have to do the same because you're never going to be happy. You're never going to be living
Right.
truly for yourself.
Right.
So what I would tell my sisters is first and foremost, boycott DL men because it's not worth it, sis.
Right.
It's not worth it. I promise you it's not worth it. They might got girlfriends and wives and fiancés because I've been in that situation.
They
Do.
And 5 baby
Right.
mamas.
Listen,
Right.
do.
Been there, done that. So
Definitely been there,
Right.
done that. Speaking from, and I just healed from a situation back in June.
Come
That happened
through,
over 4 years
healing.
ago when I first transitioned. So I'm
Yes.
just like,
Right.
I had to get over that. So
Understand.
yeah, y'all. I mean, first of all, love on yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Cause,
Okay.
and what I tell people first, like I don't give nobody the power to accept me.
Down.
You don't have the power to
Down.
do that because I had to do that for me.
I like
Exactly.
that.
Yep.
I
So
like
y'all
that.
have to accept and love yourself unconditionally first,
Right.
and then when you do that, that I think attracts the people that are going to, not want to hide you and embrace you and
Right.
actually love you and genuinely just care about you. So I think it's a lot of self work we have to do
Right.
first and foremost.
okay,
But-
so since we on that topic, let's come back to PValley with Lil Murder and Uncle Clifford. Because that's kind of what their
Oh, I have to
storyline
tell
is.
y'all about that too. Not
Yeah.
that, but just in the origin. Because I initially auditioned for Uncle Clifford
I
back in
did too.
2018. You did too? I love Katori for that because she auditioned a spectrum of people: cis women, cis men, trans women, trans men, gender nonconform, everybody. She really
Yeah.
did. So
That is so ironic. Okay.
Yeah.
she did. Well, come on, audition. But yes, okay, Uncle Clifford.
On their relationship as what you, pertaining to what you just said about DL men.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at that storyline, how are you feeling about that? Because he's technically, see, we had a debate about if he's DL or
But
just
Katori
something.
cleared
I
that
know,
up.
I know.
Okay.
I know what she said.
I'm-
We're talking with Toni.
Just
Calm down.
I'm just saying.
Calm
I'm just
down.
saying. I'm just
So-
saying.
It's always y'all.
I love it. I love them.
Me too.
I do. Like, I'm really rooting for
Me
them.
too.
I just know when it comes to Little Murder, like, I don't know. Like, I feel, because at one point, I remember tweeting, because I do the live tweeting with the cast and everybody's watching. And I was really like, he really genuinely likes her. Like, he really genuinely has feelings for her. Because a lot of people was like, child, he finessing her, or he, what they say,
Come through with the word.
He flogging, is what they say in the
That's
show.
what I said.
Mocha don't
Oh, you
believe
said
it.
that?
No,
I
Mocha don't
did.
believe it.
Mocha believes that
I
he's
believe
finessing
that he's
her.
finessing her. Not saying that I really
No,
want
I think I
them
did
to,
hear you say
I
that.
want them to win. You did.
Because I watched episode 5 review.
You heard
did
it.
say
You
that.
heard it.
Yeah, okay.
I want them to win. I
Okay.
do, but I just feel like we're gonna gag.
Really?
That's just me. Now I could be
And
wrong,
I feel like it
but
too, but in a different way than what he's thinking.
And I feel like it's
Right.
genuine.
It's going to be a... No, I'm saying that we're going to gag in
I'm
a positive
hoping.
way.
Well, yeah.
I'm hoping that it's genuine.
Yeah.
But,
Because
they're really painting him out to be this perfect boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? He wanting to take her out and wanting
But
to
is that
do
perfection or just
this,
genuineness?
wanting to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like
I just think he's
just
a
feel
DL
like
dude
they're
that
painting him
is
to
expressing
be
himself to
too-
Clifford, and he not necessarily wants everybody to know, but
Mhm.
he really likes Clifford. Because I've been, as I said, you dealt with a DL guy, and when you're behind, that's how they are.
my
That's
thing
just how they
is,
are.
he just showed up one day in the line to get in the club.
But do you think that was his first time
if
coming?
he's from Chuckalisa,
Chuckalisa.
Lisa.
he's from
Chuckalisa.
We always say Chuckalisa.
and Cliff and Uncle Clifford is the mayor of PValley.
Down.
But he didn't know who he was. When
Why
first got
did
to
he?
remember.
Why don't they know each other?
But he said that when he first got
Okay.
there, he didn't know who he
Come
was.
on, y'all. The line for Pussy Valley. The line for the Pank is always dope. Like, it's always lit. I don't believe that's his first time coming because he walked up in there like he was the king. So he was saying, I'm VIP tonight. That was one of his first lines.
No.
He didn't say he was VIP?
That was his first
No,
night.
it was not.
Yes, it was.
No, it was not.
Man,
What
we
was
need to
his
be
first-
rewatching these
The
shows.
first time he came to the show, it was because he was Lil Murder, and the boy said, "You don't know who Lil Murder is." He said he was VIP tonight once he got to know
Okay,
Clifford.
okay.
That's when he said, "I'm telling you, I
Okay.
better watch the show. You're not there."
Child. Okay, so let me ask you this before we get off subject, arguing. What was it like working with Katori? Because this is my first time hearing from her, and she has said that she loves the King in Conversations, and we love her.
I seen that.
And we're looking to come on season 2 with you, and
Period.
we don't need to be on every episode, just once, just to say hello.
Right.
You know, but you two, y'all
Yeah, I
can
wanna
do
sit at the
whatever.
table. Me, you, and Clifford gonna sit at the table.
Yes.
Now that would be great because you're the Uncle Clifford of Atlanta. Where did you all film? What city did you all
Tyler
film in?
Perry. I mean, Tyler. We filmed in Atlanta.
Yeah,
but Tyler Perry
Okay,
City.
okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Come, Tyler is just killing it.
Yes, he is.
He doing it.
God, he's doing his thing. What was
Yes,
it
he
like
is.
working with Katori?
Well, first, so just a brief. So I auditioned for Uncle Clifford back in 2018. Patrick had emailed me about it. I sent them my self-tapes, and then I went to go audition in front of them, Katori and Patrick. And after that, one day, I don't do background anymore, but one day I was like, I just got to see what this show is about. Like, I
Right.
have to. So I went and I did background, and I seen her. I seen Patrick, but Patrick a little tall and intimidating. So I was like,
Right.
I'm all right, Patrick. I'm gonna leave you alone.
Right.
But I seen Katori, and I was like, oh, she's here. And I had a conversation with her, and when I approached her, she was like, oh my God, I've been thinking about you, and
Wow.
et cetera, et cetera. And we just had a conversation. She was like, I got to get you on the
Favor.
show, whether I write you in or
Favor.
something.
Favor.
But it was like, I gagged because I was just like, well, first of all, because I was in my spirit like, I know this lady, production can't say nothing to me. Mind you, this lady could have and did see 1,000 and however many auditions.
Right.
And why would she remember me?
Yeah.
And she did. And when we had the rehearsal, well, first of all, let me say, that was like a Tuesday, Thursday when I seen her. Because I remember waking up that morning, I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Because the background casting has never in their life casted me, in their life casted
Right.
me. Okay?
Right.
And so they finally did, and it was for this show. And I drove in Tyler Perry studio. I was like, oh, I don't want to be here. But God, if I'm going to be here, make it purposeful. That's all I said driving in. And I left thinking if having that conversation with her was what it was all about, I'm satisfied.
Right.
Mhm.
All of these hours on this set where I wasn't seeing because I was low key trying to hide behind a bar or behind a
Right.
bar, I was satisfied. But literally that next Monday, I got an email from Tara, one of the biggest casting agents out there, telling me that Katori has added a role and she wants to know if you're interested and available.
Look
And
at
I was
God.
like, what?
Yes.
I was not
Wow.
expecting it to happen that fast. So
Yes.
one thing that I've learned about Katori is believe her
Yeah.
when she tells you something.
Wow.
And I remember,
And you can't say that about a lot of people in Hollywood.
No.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
And when I was on set, I went up to her and I was like, because like I said, I was nervous and in my
Mhm.
head and all the things. I was like, Katori, is Nineveh making you proud? And she
Right.
was like, yeah. She was like, oh, this not the end for Nineveh. I was like, oh.
Come through.
But the gag was, let me say about that gag though. Nineveh was going to be in episode 8, so the
Mhm.
season finale. And then I was like, child, why are you getting this script? So I
Right.
emailed Tara. She was like, oh, they had a creative change
Right.
and removed her, which was okay. That happened.
Right.
But then at the rap party, when it was all done, she told me the same thing. So again, that's
We
why
are excited
that conversation about season
for
2. That conversation. So, but Katori is amazing.
Yeah.
She's great.
And sweet.
Legendary in my eyes.
Yeah.
With all of her theater
Yes.
history and the
Right.
things she's
I've been
written.
studying her. Yes,
Like,
been a long journey for her as
listen.
well. One of the things that I thought was powerful was when they said on Twitter that this role was designed for you. That's what I love about God. Like when you just have a good heart, and I know you. I know your reputation. I know how you treat people. I know how you go in and out. I know when we talked before, you was like, I don't do background work anymore. And for you to make that step, to do that, look at what God done for you. You got favor. You know what I'm saying? There's something that wasn't supposed to be there, was created
Right.
just to give you the door. And millions of people all over this world
Yes.
have now seen your face because of that one moment of favor that you've been preparing for. So that was like awesome. What other questions y'all have?
I
Yeah.
ain't got none. I'm done. But not only have they seen your face, they've heard your voice.
Yes.
And a lot of people get background work, and they can be featured background, and they can see your face, but they don't know what you sound
Yeah.
like.
Right.
That's something you got, girl. So
Right.
hold on to it.
Well, we are so proud of you. I've always been a big fan of yours, and I will
I don't
always
do
support.
fans, we family.
Oh, right.
I don't do the
You don't
fans
like
I be
that
scared
word.
of that F word. I'm like,
No, because people have these standards. No, we family now.
okay. Come on,
Okay.
family.
Well, I've always been a follower of yours.
Come on,
Y'all you've always been family. Y'all been
No,
rocking.
we have, and it has been, and shout out to Terrence Styles who introduced us.
Yeah.
Because it was him that was actually, he was like, you gotta meet her, you gotta meet her. He knew you was a star a long time ago, so shout out to him. But yeah, that was a great, great opportunity for you. You represented all of us so well. We live in Atlanta where everybody thinks they're a celebrity. Right? And y'all know me, I'm gonna just tell the truth. Everybody thinks that they're this and they're that, and they haven't been on really anything, maybe some YouTube stuff, and it is what it is.
Ouch.
How do you
Right.
Oh, I'm just, am I lying?
Oh my
Where's the lie?
Shopping,
Where's the
shopping,
lie?
shopping. Oh my
Where is there a
God.
lie? There's no lie.
No, there's not.
All right. For you to now have a platform that most people act like they have. How do you still stay humble and still have a regular life? And if it's okay for me to say this, you still have a job. You're not around here stunting. You're still taking care of yourself. You're still paying your bills. You're still doing what you need to do. When there's so many people who are acting so much more grand, but you stay humble. How do you do that?
I think it's just,
in you.
yeah, it's just
It's
really
just
in me. Like,
who you are.
I'm just like there was a point where I was talking to Nico, and I just kept, and Nico plays Uncle Clifford. I was just talking to him, and I was just like, oh, I'm just so grateful, that Katori, like, she kept her word. And what Nico was telling me, he was like, she did keep her word, but understand why she was able to keep her word, because you did the work to be
Come
there.
through.
And for me, it's about continuing to doing the work and knowing that the work that I'm doing, I ain't got to be the one doing it. Somebody else can be in these shoes. And so therefore, because I'm walking in these shoes and, we don't know where life is headed.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like, the average life expectancy of a black woman of trans experience is the age of 35. Maybe I'll be 30 in October.
Wow.
So anything that I do, I'm just grateful because I don't have to be the one doing it. And my past used to always tell me back in the day, favor ain't fair, but it's necessary.
Exactly.
And it's
Amen.
definitely necessary, and I'm
Definitely.
grateful for it because, like I said, I don't have to be. I don't have to. I didn't. And child. It didn't have to be me.
Right. But it was you.
But it was.
And you prepared yourself. We're going to end on a really, really fun note.
Okay.
Because PValley is a very in-depth series.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it deals with some real hard shit.
Oh, geez.
We talk about some issues that people do not want to face.
Mm-hmm.
But just recently, and we think you are so beautiful. Recently, you talked about how on September 22nd or 23rd.
Oh yeah, 22nd.
But you have something very special going on, and I want to talk about it because a lot of women of trans experience are excited about that, and they want to do that. Like, can you tell us a little bit about it and what's happening and what can we expect? Because I'm gonna be looking.
Okay,
Of course.
they will be shown.
Right. What size are you? That's the main question. What size?
I don't
you
even
getting?
know. That's the gag. I really don't know because everything is so virtual. So I have to go probably the day of, and
Okay.
all their concern is like what type, whether you get silicone or saline. So and then the day of we'll decide. But so on September 22nd, I am having my breast augmentation.
Yeah. We love titties.
Yeah,
I'm
they love
sorry.
titties.
It don't matter. Love titties. Love titties all day.
But for me, it's like because I started my transition 4 years ago, and I didn't want to rush anything. I didn't want to like be this microwavable as
that's what it is.
Because for me, it's not. For me, I ain't gotta have no surgeon. I'm still gonna be who I am.
Because you're beautiful.
Because this is no surge now, and a little makeup and some hair, filter when I'm in front of But you know, like for me, I always feel like when you transition, the first step of your transition is mental. Well, it's first of all it's spiritual. I mean, one point blank and period.
Right.
But then when you figure that part out, it's a mental. You got to get your mind right because at the end of the day. I tell people all the time, I ain't arguing, I ain't debating about who I am.
Exactly.
And it's just that on that.
Right.
Because I am who I am.
Right.
And then medical, when it's HRT, and then you get physical. And I always feel like for me, my physical was going to be my implant. And I feel like not every year, maybe like the last 2 years, I feel like I would get so close. And something would happen. I got to redirect the spine. And I finally paid it out for full.
That was so the point.
Excited. That is awesome.
You paid for it.
That is awesome.
I know a woman of trans experience, and I won't say where she lives, and she watches the show. She did not have an opportunity to be as fortunate as you, to be able to work and to pay. Because back in the day, trans women were not employable. People didn't want them in their businesses and things like that. And so she done a few things to get the surgery. And she had to pay for it later by going to prison. And for you to put that you paid it in full, like when I read that, I was literally jumping up and down because that is letting our young trans women who are women of trans experience that are coming up do it the right way. No need to scam, no need to stunt, no need to steal credit cards, no need to go through craziness. Do it the right way, and people can respect that. Because I thought that was so dope when you posted that.
Yeah, because you do it the wrong way and something happens, you can't go back and get that fixed.
Exactly.
I'm telling you from girls that I know that got their noses done and their breasts done, and then when things went wrong, they stunted it, so you can't go back and get that rectified, but you can because you actually paid. So yeah, do it the right way.
Well, we are excited. Can't wait to see the photo shoot afterwards because I know it's going to be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I already know who can I say?
Yes, you can.
I'm calling you over there, because you introduced me to Ralph in that first photo shoot, and then I just did a second one. Late July, early August, somewhere around there. Late July. Yeah.
One of my first photo shoots that I've done was with you.
You invited me to come.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
You invited me.
I just feel like another family reunion.
Again, favor ain't fair, but it's what necessary.
One step to one step to one step to one. Thank you so much for coming with us.
No problem.
I told y'all she was amazing.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
We said, oh, no, I'm just kidding. No, he been bragging on you since before your episode aired. So yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'm Team Toni Bryce. Like, honestly, if I could have, I would have had a shirt made today and done it up because I totally 100% believe in you. And I've been believing in you. Let me make this public from the beginning, not just when you got on PValley.
Right.
All right.
Now, I want to say this.
Yes.
It's on subject, but off subject.
Go ahead.
So, I do lip sync shows still.
Okay.
And I was in a dressing room the night your episode aired. And someone in the dressing room tried to come through.
Oh God, who we got to
No, I
fight?
told you this already.
Pick up me.
And I literally said to them, regardless of how small you may perceive the role to be, it's still very important. And as you see, we're still talking about it.
Exactly.
So I'm saying that to people to stop thinking so small, because they felt like, oh, Toni was on Twitter bragging, and I was like, what do you mean it was small? She's still on a national platform. She's on Stars.
I don't know who said that.
Can I speak to that? I'm not gonna retaliate to that because
Right.
Yeah, God is good.
But anyway,
Because you still got that good check. Okay.
And I know the creator and the showrunner and the writer.
and y'all are in constant contact.
So I'm gonna leave it there.
When's the last time you talked to Nico? Okay.
Who number in my phone? Can I call him right now?
Right.
But it's okay.
Yeah, you're gonna do
Ooh,
that.
you know the I'm telling you, the kids will read. The kids will read.
But let me say this in response to that, because I never ever want to come off as like bragging or anything. And I remember when this episode was coming out, I talked to Nico. I said, Nico, I'm nervous. Like, am I going to be in the episode? Are they going to edit me out? Like, I don't know what they're going to keep. Are they going to keep one line, all the line?
Right.
Nico was like, well, from what I remember, everything is still in there. And they kept everything.
Wow.
But what he told me, he's like, and Toni, let me tell you something. He was like, don't reduce what you are celebrating to an editor or what. I wouldn't care if you had one line. You did the work and you have the journey. Like that. That's the. It's really that was the moment, but it was really about the journey.
See?
And so for whoever that person was, whoever they were, it's okay.
Yeah.
But
you
again,
can see that, but again, it wasn't you.
You ain't
I
checked them. You do it, trust me.
But see, again, that's why I'm saying you stay humble.
Mm-hmm.
When people who wish they had your platform act so much more grand, and that makes me respect you that much more.
Low, we go
high.
Work first.
Well, y'all pray for me because I'm not there.
You know, sometimes.
Yeah.
No, not ever. Not ever.
All right. Well, listen, everybody. We hope that you have enjoyed this wonderful episode about PValley with our special guest, Miss Toni Bryce, who is a shining star. We look forward to seeing you on so much more. We want to see you on The Shy. We talked about that. Right. We want to see you on The Shy because what I love about the LGBT producers and writers, and they're giving opportunities to the voiceless. Who would have ever thought that we would have had a Nineveh? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's very needed in today's time.
So I'm just excited. So please make sure that you follow us on all social media. Make sure that you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Also, turn on that little bell. Is that a little bell?
Notification bell.
Yeah, turn that little bell on. So that
Mine
you don't miss.
work. It don't never go off.
Mine don't go off either.
And I always hit production and say, "Where's the damn video?"
Listen,
my
Never
notification
goes off. Never goes
my
off.
notification bell never goes off. Something's wrong.
But I know somebody's does, because after 2 minutes of being up, it's like at 100 and something. So somebody bell ringing.
No, I'm gonna tell you what's funny. People start hitting me up and be like, "Oh my God, I love the new episode." I'm like,
I'll be the same way. I'm so sorry.
I didn't even know. But again, Toni, thank you so much for coming. Thank you for taking this time out of your day. Whatever we can do here at Kingz and Conversation to support you, we will.
got you.
Well, I just want to thank y'all for having me. I appreciate it. And thank y'all for watching the show, because I love it.
Thank
Even
y'all.
as a fan of you, I love PValley Season 2. We got Season 2 after the 3rd episode. What's that?
That's crazy.
Right, and still got 2 more episodes to go. So.
Wow. Katori, you are doing amazing. Keep letting God use you.
She is amazing.
All right? All right, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later.
See y'all later.
I'll drink it.